and thank you for joining me and my co-host Claire.
Hello.
My regular Jamila.
Hello.
And my producer Uzma.
Hello.
For another episode of Poopology here in Ibiza. So before we start off, I'm going to actually do a little bit of shameless marketing on behalf of a spa hotel that we went to yesterday. Just to be clear, we're not being paid to advertise in any way, so this is just see it more like a review. We spent the whole day yesterday. We absolutely loved it, so I thought I'd just start off by talking about that first. It's a place called Atzaro. That's ATZARO.com, and they have the most beautifully well manicured sort of exotic gardens set inland in Ibiza with an amazing kind of Thai style spa facilities. We spent the entire day there relaxing, eating the most amazing food and really chilling out to the point where we all kind of fell asleep for a brief period.
We also did inadvertently put ourselves through 2 hours worth of yoga, which we
Yes, so the yoga class was also wonderful, but yes, it was extremely long, and some of us who are kind of yoga first timers, I guess, found it a bit difficult, or beginners. I don't know, it was more like an intermediate stroke advanced kind of yoga session, and it did go on for 2 entire hours.
I feel like it needs to be said that I felt like the smart one in that I was just like, I wasn't feeling like doing an hour of yoga and decided to stay on the daybed.
I think you'll find it was 2 hours.
I know, but we all did think it was initially going to be an hour, and then about an hour and a half in, I'm like, oh my gosh, where have they gone? Have they just left me and gone wandering?
We haven't gone anywhere, we're still doing the yoga.
I went off and put my swimming costume on and got all nice and comfortable and saw them still. I think you were doing downward dog when I saw you guys.
Well, about the 20th time probably.
And I just thought, oh, they're still doing yoga. I wonder how long it's going to continue. And went back to the daybed. So I feel like I made the best choice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a painful experience. And
But
I
it
think
was amazing.
Yeah.
if any of us knew it was 2 hours, we may have opted out of that. But still, it was an amazing experience, amazing spa. We totally enjoyed ourselves, and we ate the most amazing food and pretty much slept and sat around in a huge cabana talking and just chilling out. So highly recommended. If you do come to Ibiza, you should go and visit it for sure. So on that note, since we've been talking about yoga and, exercise, I thought that we should start off by talking about this Nike plus size mannequin that has been heavily in the news recently, and I just wanted to get what everybody's views are. I have read some comments on Instagram on some posts that people have been posting around, and some of it was slightly concerning to me, to be honest. And I know that Uzma was saying that she has read something in The Guardian.
I think it's actually the Telegraph,
Okay.
of the actual article that was written about it, and how this woman, who is actually the writer of this, she literally writes that I fear that the war on obesity is lost, or has even, as in unfashionable, ceased to exist for fear of upsetting people into an early grave. And then she goes on to say she is in every measure obese, and she is not readying herself for a run in her shiny night gear. She cannot run. She is more likely pre-diabetic and on her way to a hip replacement.
Wow.
Okay, so can I just say that I think that person just needs to shut up, because I've actually ran with people who are significantly heavier than me, did a 10k obstacle race and was passed by a woman that was at least 3 stone heavier than me, and she put me to shame.
What I don't get is, if this person is obese, would you not want to help them by doing fitness? And for them to do fitness, they require fitness outfits, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that, surely if you are plus size and you want to lose weight and you want to be healthier, you need gym clothes. And why should you have to wear ugly gym clothes when everyone else is in their Nikes and Adidases and Sweaty Betties and, Sweaty Betty, for example. They have beautiful clothes. I'm always looking through the window, but I never go in because I know they have nothing in my size, for example. It is made for sort of size 4 to 10. They say 8 on there, but it's not even 8. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Uzma, you would be on the, on the large, on the large end. And you're the slimmest out of all of us, so
they're discriminating people that probably need fitness more than the people that they're actually advertising.
I just don't get what all the furore is about having a plus size model or mannequin. they have been around for such a long time. A lot of the stores that I go to, especially for those stores that cater to my shapeliness and my round behind, often have mannequins that are significantly larger than myself, and they've got clothes on so you can actually see what things look like for your shape, for your size, so you don't have to go through humiliation of trying something on in a dressing room only to find out that you look like a hoochie mama, and that, you know, all the things that you don't want hanging out actually hang out, and everything that you want pulled in is actually hanging out or hanging over or puffing over, so you've got muffin top. I welcome having sportswear where I can actually say, okay, I think it's going to fit my behind, it's going to fit my thighs, it may even fit my boobs. Yay.
I was just looking at LinkedIn, and there's lots of interesting comments. People really positive for the mannequin, and there are some people who perhaps not so positive. But one of the more bizarre comments I've seen is that someone feels sorry for the workers in the store who have to lug about a plus size model. They're made of fiberglass. They're not representative of the weight of the person that you're moving around.
And to be honest, are they really taking up that much space? I mean, I'm looking at a picture on Instagram of this mannequin right now, and to be honest, it's not that big. I mean, I'm probably bigger than this mannequin myself, so I don't think that, you know, I'd be quite upset if people that work in shops find it difficult to get around me. That would be interesting.
Even an orbit.
You know, I'm not the Michelin man. You know?
Isn't it bad enough that you go into some stores and the largest size they do is a 14, and you know it's good on, you know, fashion, and that's all well and good, but I probably am the most unstandard size 14 you can ever get. Like, my rib cage and my waist are a 14, my boobs and my butt and my thighs are definitely not. So I'm either getting a 16 or 18 so it fits round and actually hangs right, or not. But this mannequin would help me know whether or not it's gonna actually look good.
So wasn't it sort of popular, I don't know how many years ago, for people to be slightly more overweight? So the more round and more meat you had on your body, the more you were considered to be rich.
Yes, I mean, in the 1950s, 1960s, you know, the average size was different to the average size now, and it was more fashionable to be rounder. In fact, skinny ladies wore dresses with padding around the sort of hip area to make their
to emphasize
bums look slightly larger. But then you had all that sort of the Kate Moss era, which is what started off the super skinny look, and then for a while that was also shamed. You know, being over skinny was not necessarily seen as a nice thing, and people were talking about fashion models and how they were too skinny, and I think a couple of people died from eating disorders, and you know, the fashion world kind of stopped supporting the over skinny look. And now, I mean, I don't know where we are now, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of this sort of celebrity culture out there, so lots of people are, you know, like The Only Way is Essex and Love Island and all this sort of stuff, representing pretty much the same sort of profile of, you know, people.
So is it basically we're getting all our information from lots of people who have no education or qualifications in that area, but are still offering advice about how to be healthy and how to look better and how to be your best self?
Well, some of it I don't think is advice.
There is a comment in here on LinkedIn, and it just says, were there any plus size male mannequins in the store?
I mean, that's something we don't know, do we? We actually don't know, so unless we go to Night Town, we'll never find out.
No, it was only talking about women. So sorry, caller.
But I guess that because then those guys have got, is it Giacomo?
They've got Giacomo,
which is an entire brand devoted to people who are either taller or a little bit
larger. It's not like plus size, you know, brands don't exist though. For men and women it exists. It's just this one mannequin, and it's the fact that it's in a sports shop. So I think the reason some horrible people have made some of the comments that they have is because they are directly linking, you know, sportswear and sports brands and, you know, overweight. So if you're a sports brand, you're supposed to be condoning people doing healthy things and being healthy. So if you've suddenly got plus size wear, that means you're condoning, you know, an unhealthy lifestyle, because they're talking about obesity. You know, they're putting obesity and all these things in the same sentence. And diabetes, and I mean, you heard the thing that
2 + 2
Uzma read.
75, because isn't offering people that you think maybe obese or overweight like the nice options, so that they feel like, oh yeah, I want to put that on and actually work out somewhere else where people can see me potentially, because maybe they need some support.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Because self-esteem, you know, especially if you're a bit overweight, you can sometimes have a
Yeah.
slightly lower self-esteem. And one way in which you can feel better about yourself is to wear nice clothes and to put makeup on and, you know, things that make you feel good, basically. Wear nice underwear and that sort of stuff. So if that option is taken away from you, so suddenly there are no nice clothes for you to wear, you know, how is that supposed to help your self-esteem? So because I'm overweight, do I have to just walk around like a slob in oversized, horrible clothing? And, you know, and I'm forced to go to the gym where I can see all these other young, slim, healthier people. I already feel intimidated by them for walking into the gym at my size. But then I'm also not allowed to wear nice clothes. You know, I'm forced to actively look even worse.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit of a...
Yeah. Sometimes I think there is a confusion between fat equaling unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that someone who has a little bit more weight on them is necessarily unhealthy. You may look at thin people and they could be a lot more unhealthy than, say, us here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
and
think there's this automatic assumption that because you're slightly rounder, that you are more unhealthy.
Yeah, and I think your ability to do exercise isn't as hindered as people think.
Yeah.
So, you know, now that I'm overweight, yes, I struggle a little bit with things like yoga where stretching is required. However, you know, myself and Uzma go to the gym together sometimes, and
You actually are much better than I am. Like, you can withstand for longer at a higher resistance than I definitely can.
and we go on the cross trainer together and the bikes together and, you know, sometimes the treadmill. And from a cardiovascular perspective, and I'm 20 years older than her and I have some bad habits, I can actually go faster, go longer, go harder than she can. And she's clearly half my size. So I don't think the size necessarily is an indication of your physical ability to do exercise.
Yeah.
And actually I was reading something here on Instagram from a young lady who's going by the name of Super Sarah on Instagram, and she's written, "I wish at Nike London having a plus size mannequin wasn't seen as controversial or as revolutionary. It should be normal for all size bodies to be represented. But unfortunately the media backlash caused by one mannequin was wild and people were saying the most ignorant poop in response." That bit's a bit edited there. "My two takeaways after reading too many fat-phobic tweets is this. 1, you can't judge someone's health, especially mental health, by looking at their body size. So assuming someone who's thin is healthy is just as stupid as assuming someone who is fat is unhealthy. 2, even if someone is in poor health, for whatever reason, they still deserve respect and they're still worthy of a little humanity. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll just be over here loving my fat babyly self, who, by the way, could probably squat your entire body weight in some Nike gym tights."
Well, round of applause. What's it?
That's Superstar.
Well done.
Super
Cheers.
Sarah.
Well
Sorry,
done,
Super Sarah. Yeah.
Now officially one of my heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the idea that she could squat somebody else's body weight.
And there's a lovely picture of her next to the mannequin.
Oh, lovely.
Ah, I saw her on LinkedIn. She's cool.
Yeah.
Now, she is around about the same size as the mannequin?
Yeah.
She looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
She does. Yeah, she does. I mean, I don't understand what the big deal with this mannequin is, to be honest with you.
Do you think it's more of the media picking up on something rather than
I mean, clearly
people?
this particular person who wrote the article has a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
You know, clearly they
What,
personally do, and newspapers love to, you know, print stuff that's like slightly edgy. It gets them readers, right? Look, all this attention. I mean, even we're giving it attention, so they love that sort of stuff.
She's literally written, "She is immense, vast, she heaves with fat."
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Actually, it's really difficult to heave with fat when you're made of fiberglass.
I'm just going to say that also just smacks of self-hatred. Like, was she a fat person really, and now she's a secret thin person? Is she a secret fat person that's just pretending that you're like airbrush and nobody ever sees her?
I have no idea.
She seems very angry.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem extremely hateful, doesn't it? And for what reason exactly? So some people are a bit overweight. You know, I'm not even sure I quite understand or agree with some of the comments. You know, like I said, the word obesity. This mannequin doesn't look that big to me.
Yeah.
Well, according to her, it's above size 16.
Okay.
But then it just becomes obese. Like, in her eyes, I think.
Well,
That's what it
then
is.
she really needs to check like one of those BMI tables and actually see that actually it's about ratio of muscle to fat, not just size.
So,
Like I
once
said,
again
uneducated.
quote, the new Nike Mannequin is not size 12, which is healthy, or even 16. A hefty weight, yes, but not one to kill a woman, suggesting that the weight of this mannequin is enough to kill a woman.
How? Kill a woman like falling on her?
The thing is, like,
Squashing her?
Oh my gosh.
Falling on her neck and stopping the airflow? Like, I don't understand how that could happen.
Yeah.
Kill
maybe it's like that movie, you know, when the mannequin comes alive.
What do you mean
with
Mannequin?
Kim Cattrall.
Mannequin, yeah.
Yeah, with Kim Cattrall.
Yeah.
That's a
Who
great
is,
film.
yeah, because she was
Yeah.
a super large.
Yeah.
What was the phrase about the fat? The
Bulging?
The-
No, well, heaving.
heaving fat. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
obviously
Heaving fat, yes.
Mannequin and Mannequin 2. They were both
Mannequin
heaving-
and Mannequin 2.
Classics.
We're both heaving fat.
In here, she mentions the new Nike Mannequin is not even a size 12, which is healthy. What does healthy mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I have a friend who's 6'5" or something, and she's a size 16 because she's 6'5".
Right, yeah.
Right, so I'm not sure. Again, size and healthy and weight, and for her size, she's perfectly slim and healthy looking. She's slightly athletic. She's not stick thin, but for her height, that size works.
Yeah.
So I just don't know again if size is relevant.
And I once went to school with a girl who looked thin and, like that sort of stereotypical, like, I don't know, whatever glass she had, but looked thin. And then we did that whole, pinch and inch kind of thing in sports class, which I'd like to say that my inch it wasn't an inch, so I was a pig. And she was just flab. There was no muscle definition. She was thin, but it was like fat over bone. And there was no muscle in between. Like, she was a size 8.
I wonder if this journalist knows about visceral fat.
I don't think so.
Oh wow!
What?
Picture of her looking incredibly
Size 12.
Womanly.
womanly,
Womanly.
and one with her holding a cigarette. So that's obviously very healthy, isn't it? She's obviously the epitome of health.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I just feel like if you're going to put yourself out there and be so damning, you need to ensure that you've got your...
Shit in order. I just think if you're going to, like Jem says, put yourself out there,
As the epitome of health and knowledge about health.
then you better be it.
Yeah.
Live it. Breathe it. And don't eat it.
Well, if you ate it, you wouldn't be.
It.
You wouldn't be size 16 and obese, according to this person.
So I went to, I can't remember, it was a while back now. I went to the doctors and had to do a few tests and stuff. He did my BMI and he said to me, "Oh, you are obese." And I just looked at him and went, "Well, no, I'm not." And he went, "Well, medically, you are obese." And I said, "Well, you may say that, but it's a good job that I have high self-esteem, and I don't think that is true." So I went home and told my husband, and he went, "Don't worry, I'm morbidly obese, so don't worry about it."
But also, the thing is that they base it on weight and your height, and actually, like, if you get a proper scan, they'll base it on your muscle density, your
Muscle mass
your
versus
bone mass,
everything else. Yeah.
And then they give you an accurate description rather than these, I don't know, cracker, like, pull out, "Oh yes, this is you," or was it cookie cutter, or was it, I don't know, fortune cookie, like, "Oh yes,
Fortune cookie.
yeah, like, fortune cookie, "Oh look, I'm looking at you," I break open the cookie, "Oh look, you're obese." Or, "Oh look, you're not obese." I don't know why I'm doing an accent.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So that brings us on to holidays with your friends,
Oh,
because
my
that's obviously what we're on at the moment. What is it like going on holiday with your friends?
It's horrible. I hate every moment of it. No.
Well, they do say you kind of find out about what your friends like
Yes,
on
you
holiday more than you do any other time, because obviously you're like basically trapped together in a location for more than 4 hours, which is what you would probably normally spend 4 or 5 hours maximum together in London, doing whatever, having dinner, hanging
So
out.
I would say out of the 4 of us, 3 of us have one thing in common.
What's that?
I don't know which one.
I like to.
So I'm going to leave you guessing which 3 that is, and we're not going to say.
Well, listen, it's not my fault if food ferments. If food ferments in my stomach, and the fermentation process lets off gas.
Okay, so that's one
totally,
personality.
Totally not my fault. What do you mean one personality?
She said she wasn't going to say who it was.
Yeah, and you had the biggest fearful look on your face.
This is audio. Nobody can see my fearful face. me.
She had the biggest fearful face.
No, but seriously.
Who would have thought that's the one thing that we all have in common? Unanimously, we all have that in common.
Well, Uzma admitted earlier that she farts too, but she said she farts when she sneezes, and because her sneeze is so loud, you can't hear the farts.
It's nicely disguised, right?
Okay. Well, no, but seriously, going back to this whole going on holiday with your friends, I was actually quite. No, seriously.
Change the subject.
No, I was actually quite nervous about it because, I mean, the last time I went on a girls' holiday was when I was 18, and I was no longer friends with the people I went away with by the time we came back. So I was a little bit afraid because you guys were like, you know, my besties.
And you thought you might not have any best friends left on holiday.
You know, like, it was a bit.
I think it's different when you go on holiday when you're a lot younger.
Yeah.
Right. So we're a slightly more mature ladies, and we're able to say, you know what?
We felt it. We're proud.
I need 5 minutes to pop to the loo. I'll be all right, but I'll catch you up. And none of us bat an eyelid, and we all go, okay, because we all secretly know what's going on.
Oh, God.
No, but honestly, it's been really, 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 really good. It's been really relaxing.
For me, I remember going on holiday with a bunch of girlfriends in my early 20s, and literally all we did was grab a bunch of stuff, put it in whoever owned a car, and drove with not much money, hoping that we would find a beach and probably sleep in the car or sleep on a beach. Going on holiday when you're in your 40s, late 30s, 40s, you have so much. But you have disposable cash. You have income. You can spend money on nice things. You can go for nice dinners.
You mean you don't have to
Book
sleep
nice-
in the car? You can actually sleep in it on a bed.
Especially with our farting, can you imagine us all? We'd all be dead by now.
Oh, God, that's too small a space to be trapped.
Need a limo.
Oh my God.
So I remember
individual car.
I remember being on holiday with a friend of mine, and we just decided we're just going to pack the car up, we're going to hit the road, it's going to be awesome. We couldn't find anywhere to stay, and we eventually found this car park area. We woke up in the morning, we were in a graveyard. How did we even, what happened?
Did you even not?
No, because it was so dark that we couldn't find anywhere to stay, that we just found this. No wonder it was empty and free. It was a graveyard.
Nice.
Classy.
Yeah, I mean, I think, going on a holiday with your girlfriends when you're in your 20s is vastly different to when
Yeah.
you're a grown-up.
As we've seen from some of the shows that we've had nightly.
Oh, yes, yes.
We've been
Of
there.
the younger people on the island, yes.
It is fun though.
I have to say, I did think you guys, I say you guys, I'm not going to out anybody, but whoever decided that we were going clubbing on the night we flew in, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. They're on crack. They're seriously on crack. I'm like, who goes clubbing the same night that we fly
Excuse
in?
me, you
must
stayed the
admit-
latest.
I know.
So,
Your
again,
best
you're,
night.
I know.
I am
know.
going to out you
No,
and say that
I know.
we came home and you stayed behind.
I
Even
was
I packed it
dancing.
in early about 5 a.m. and
Yeah.
you and Uzma stayed till what?
6?
Sunrise?
No, it was still dark.
No, I watched
It was
sunrise,
sunrise.
back in the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was here
Yeah.
awake and she walked in. I was watching the sunrise
Okay,
when
we
she
were
walked
Okay.
in.
arriving during.
I was not
sunrise.
aware of
So you
sunrise. By that point,
chose
my
to
eyes were probably closing.
You chose to stay behind with the 25-year-old
I
and
know,
continue
the music,
dancing.
because the music was good. I had my groove
And
on.
the 25-year-old came home and said to me, Jem wanted to stay till closing time, but
Yeah.
I told her, this thing closes at 8, I'm going home, you're on your own. So
Not quite the conversation, but I
we
did know
all
about
know
the
we all know about you, so don't
No,
like
I did actually think it was closing at 6. No, I thought we only had another hour to go. When you said closing at 8, I went to the loo and I was like, should we go now? Just the 5 minutes though. But yeah, I wouldn't have been of any use to anybody the following day.
Yeah.
I left the club at 8.
8 a.m.
Because I would have been
Well, I
awake
mean, we had
over
a
24 hours that
we
by
had
that
a
point.
pretty chilled out the day after as well. You could have
Yeah.
slept the whole day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Although the most hilarious thing was that we came back for the next day, we were going out that night.
Yeah.
And so we all had an afternoon nap, and we sat because we knew we had to leave at 11?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
So
So
we
we
s-
had to be up at 11.
Had to be up at
Yeah.
11. So Jem and I are sharing a room, and we set the alarm for 11. And I remember the alarm going off
I woke her up.
And you did, and I went, oh, surely we can do another half an hour.
I woke her up 15 minutes later.
And then it wasn't until 20 past 12 that Jim went, shit, we've got to get up. And I'm like, oh, bugger, I'll go have a quick shower. And literally, just as I was walking to the bathroom, you knocked on the door.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, we're not ready yet. And you looked at me with absolute concern. We need to be there by 1. I was like, oh my God.
And I had
Jim and I actually got dressed and ready in 9 minutes.
That's enough.
We still got it.
That was pretty awesome. 9 minutes to get us ready. Literally, there was no thinking going on. It was just like...
And then you asked us about our tickets, and we were like, what tickets? I gave you the ticket! We were back
I had to do a sprint back to the room.
Yeah, but you can't.
But we managed it. We managed it.
We did. We managed 2 nights, and then we managed a nice beach date. No, not beach date. Well, beach kind of hotel, poolside
day, chilling out, maxing, relaxing.
And then obviously we had to have yesterday, in the spa, just to calm things down.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
We have to take it back to, the maturity level of women professionals.
Are you saying you're not ready to go clubbing again now?
Jim,
Tonight. I
Jim,
should do it tonight.
You're talking about professional women. You had mojitos for breakfast.
I didn't have mojitos for breakfast. I'll have you know that I was proper English and I had a full English breakfast.
And what
with
was your drink?
The first one was a sunshine smoothie, which
And what was the second?
the strawberry and mango smoothie, and then I moved on to mojito. So I was very good.
So it was your third drink of the day.
It was my third drink of the
and
day.
4th, please.
And
And 5th and 6th.
No, that was rosé, I think.
Wine was
that's
over
still
dinner.
alcohol.
Wine was over dinner. Yeah, but that was like
Dinner,
how many hours later?
Yeah, that was like dinner.
That doesn't count. There's such a big gap between
I
the
feel so
drinking.
judged right now.
By the junior.
Oh my gosh. As I sip slightly more liqueur.
Well, I feel like if we found the right club with the right music, you would be totally down for another night of dancing, for sure.
You know what? If it's R&B, garage, R&B,
Another
garage,
night at Pasha.
R&B or garage, and not doof, 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 doof. Like music that I actually understand would be useful.
So you can drop it like it's hot.
Dude, you know I got it.
Well, you did make a lot of new friends that night. Lots of people wanted to be your pal and dance with you.
And the thing is, you didn't even tell me this because I was completely unaware, apart from the guy who fell on our drinks.
Yeah. Our very expensive drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, Pasha is definitely the best club
Yeah, loved
in
it.
town. Loved it. Especially Mucho Muchacho, Cream Barbershop. That's the night for Gem.
Was
Yeah,
it?
it was cool.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And we, after 7 years, we came back just for
for
him.
him.
And
That's
the
the reason
reason
we
we
did
went
the
out on
first
the
night.
first night
Yeah.
was because that was his night.
No, I knew there was a reason for us going out. But at the same time, I'm like on the plane thinking, this is the craziest thing I've ever done. I woke up at 6:30.
Yeah, but you're
telling me-
listen. I booked flights at 5 p.m, so you didn't have to wake up at 6:30.
I had stuff to do, man. I had stuff
If
to
you'd
do.
been better organised.
Actually,
She's
I've
almost one friend down from this holiday.
I am rethinking, reviewing the situation right now. No, but
You're
actually, I'm
currently
not-
getting friend points right now. I can see
I'm
that.
losing.
Defriends,
I'm
yeah.
losing.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
losing
but I normally
friend
wake up at 5.
So you had to lie in.
I had to lie in, and I had stuff to do, and I did try and lie in longer, but it's just not part of my DNA. Fair enough, if I'd been out the night before and clubbing till 6, might have been easier, but it wasn't.
Maybe you should have done that as a pre-party. So I'd be
Pre-party.
I was woken up at 4:45, but I didn't want to get up at 4:45. I was just woken up from, I think, child number 2,
Right, yeah.
Mr. 5.
No, I have to say, I think I got up about 9.
Ugh.
So I got up
Ugh.
about 9, but I did go to bed at 3 a.m.
Okay.
I left the office at midnight, so, probably the same length of hours, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can honestly say going on holiday with you guys is fun. We all know what we want and we're happy to say what we want to do. There's no, I can't believe you said that to me, all that kind of stuff. It's just, okay.
We just think it inside.
So let me put, oh God, let me put the question this way then: have you ever had disastrous holidays with your friends?
Yes.
I mean, you've obviously said that you lost an entire group of friends after
I
a
don't think,
holiday.
I'm not entirely sure they were friends to start off with, but that's a different matter.
So have you had other disastrous holidays where
I've never done it
you've...
again. This is the first time I've
Oh,
chosen
really?
to-
Really? Oh my God,
I went
20
away with-
years later.
I went away with
That must
5
have seriously
friends.
scarred
I
you.
went away with 5 friends. I did not speak to any of them again. Like,
You were proper traumatised then.
Wow.
What happened?
it was all sorts of shit.
Wow,
All sorts.
okay, gosh, that sounds rough.
Jeez. I've been on a few hen parties away for the weekend, which have been interesting, especially when you go away with people you've like literally never met before in your life.
Yeah.
If you go away with them, they're always interesting. But I haven't really been on any sort of disastrous.
I don't think I've been on
Holidays.
any disastrous holidays either. But I have been on a few holidays where, you know, it's been challenging.
Yes.
And I've thought, okay, I love you, but I'm never going on holiday with
Yeah.
you again. And one of those things is, like, as you were saying earlier on, just about the whole sort of, you know, everyone has to do everything all together all the
Yeah.
time thing.
Well, we were
You know,
quite
my
good about setting
stance
the
is...
ground rules.
Yeah, my stance is more like, these are the things I want to do. Does anyone want to join? And if people want to join, great. If not, I'll go and do them anyway. And you're free to do what you want to do. And no hard feelings. See you later. You
Yeah.
know, maybe just make plans to meet at dinner time, and everyone goes off and does their own thing during the day, or
Yeah.
something like that. So I do get annoyed when it's kind of like, no, I want to do this with me, do this with me, and you're
Yeah.
thinking, well, actually, I don't want to. You know, I would rather do something else. And if
Yeah.
you say no, then they're like, I don't want to go on my own. You know, you know, and it turns into one of these.
No, decision made. We're not going.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very nice this morning to wake up and there was a note from Jamila saying, "Gone for a walk with Eve, message when you wake up." Now what was nice about that it wasn't a message on my phone that potentially would have woken me up. It was just a nice handwritten note. So I got up, had a shower, dried my hair, got dressed, sent the message, and came and met you. Actually woke Uzma up, but
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It was late and I needed to wake up.
I'm up for 11, so I didn't feel so bad. But
I would have just.
And we didn't
kept
really walk
sleeping.
that far. We found somewhere that we could get breakfast.
And then we just sat there, and then when we got your message, we were like, oh, we'll just sit here a bit longer. And then I got Uzma's message, and we were like, we'll just sit here a bit longer.
Uzma
you
was
know.
only about 15 minutes behind
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But we were having fun sitting there chatting
Yeah.
and, you know, drinking juice. So, and some
mocktails.
people were drinking mojitos, but, you know.
There was only one person. It was Jamila. Jamila rules.
But yeah, so I have had some interesting holidays like that. Last year, actually, I went to India with one of my bestest friends, and it was a mixture of disastrous, but weirdly, it was the only holiday where our entire holiday was full of lots of disasters, and during certain parts of it, we really wound each other up because we had to share a room for most of it, and it was like 3 weeks long, 3.5 weeks
There's no
long.
getting away.
And India was challenging. We were backpacking, so there was no luxuries whatsoever. And it's just a very challenging country to be in because nothing's easy. You know, there's no signposts, there's no clear indications of where anything is or how to get there, and there's not even a lot of people who know when you ask them, you know, where is the bus station. Some of them don't know where it is. So it's a challenging place to be. So all the time you're kind of feeling
Dealing with
like, yeah,
challenges.
dealing with things and trying to figure out where to go and how to get there and how to stay alive, basically. So that mixed in with our close proximity, having to share even beds in some occasions, I think we started to get a little bit of sort of cabin fever on occasions and started bickering with each other. However, we were bickering one minute and then sort of laughing and joking and having fun the next minute. So it was a little bit like being a married couple, I think. But at the end of the holiday, I just said to her, I had the most amazing time, and even with the bickers and some of the weirdness, I would totally do this with you again, because we knew that we were both feeling challenged and on occasions like uncomfortable, and we knew that we were just bickering, but at the end of the day, you know, we love each other and it's okay. So that was an interesting experience for me, to go on holiday with someone and have like difficult moments, but yet come out the other end thinking, I would so do this again, you know, I'd do it all over again, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I was about easily 20 years ago, maybe 17 years ago. I went on holiday with one of my close mates, and it was a driving holiday. We went to Rotorua and we stayed up there for the weekend, and we were in her car, and we went out the night before we were due to come back and got absolutely toasted. And I was so drunk, so hungover the next morning that all I could just do was vomit all over the place. It was disgusting. She had to drive
Classy.
It was super class. She had to drive 8 hours because we were supposed to be sharing the driving, and I was so hungover that she had to drive all the way home. It was like an 8-hour journey, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat going, and I could see she's getting really pissed at me and really cross. So she had to drive back 8 hours. We were supposed to be sharing the driving. I'm sitting in the passenger seat in agony, just roll. I'm so hungover. We had to stop like every 10 minutes so I could vom on the side of the road. So I felt really bad for her because I was just like, you drove 8 hours on your own. We got halfway and she said, I'm going to have to stop for a break. I need a nap. So we had to pull into this car park. And I'm just lying there going, I'm dying. And we could see this family in a minivan out next to us. And you could see the mum and dad sort of looked at each other and went, pain. No, we know what you're going through. Remember, we were driving along. It was this really long straight road, and they must have done a little bit of road work on it. And I'm just sort of lying, existing, I think is what it was called, existing in the front seat. We're driving along, and she could see that there'd been some road works, and she didn't know what to do. And I don't know what made her do it, but we were driving along, and just as she was driving over it, there was a section of the road had been taken out. And as we drove along, she didn't realise that she should have slowed down, and we just went flying over. We went boom, and we went up to the end. So what she did was she reached out with her left hand and she went, hold on!
Oh my God.
Went, boom! And I thought, why are you even putting your arm out? Put both of them on the steering wheel.
She was trying to save you.
She was, even though I had annoyed her because I was so ill the whole way.
Love, that is.
That's friendship love.
Yeah.
That's proper love. Yeah, I don't know if I love you that much.
Hold on!
I would have just pulled over and said, like, it's your turn, you need to suck it up. But as somebody that can't drive, I would have been doing the driving in the first place. So I wouldn't have been doing my turn.
Oh, I did feel bad for her. That was like a little driving holiday we went on, and I literally could do no driving. So.
Is this the one where you woke up in the cemetery?
No, it's a different one.
Oh gosh.
It's not the same one.
Different holiday. So one thing I've found interesting this holiday, and I'm glad that the group that I'm with are not doing it, is the swimsuit attire. I am a little sick of seeing butts, like all of these butts with the G-string, so I'm really glad that our group has not partaken in that particular fashion.
G-string out tomorrow.
It is very Dallas. I don't know. Is it Dallas Dynasty 1980s? I feel like I could just be doing. Da, 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 da.
Is that a theme tune?
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
But they just, I don't know, if those women had shoulder pads and like really big poofy hair, it would fit in better with those swimsuits than just their butts hanging out.
Well, you know, I'm glad that there are so many young people with so much body confidence that they actually feel good walking around sort of semi-naked, because, you know, some of them are bigger than that plus-size Nike model, and so I'm glad that they have so much body confidence. However, you know, I think you do need to be appropriate.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be appropriate for where you are, and, you know, yes, beaches, some beaches are okay to maybe go topless, but some beaches aren't. You know, if there are lots of kids around and, you know, you're with your like boyfriend and all his mates, isn't it a bit weird? It's kind of like your boyfriend or your husband's mates are seeing you in basically just a G-string. So that's like underwear, essentially, topless and naked incompleteness almost.
And I'm just going to say, is it fishnet?
Yeah.
Oh, the mesh.
Yeah.
The mesh, yeah. It doesn't matter the size of mesh. It doesn't matter the colour. It doesn't matter who's wearing it, what size they are, how tall they are, how slim they are, how... Nobody looks good in it. Especially, I'm just going to say, especially the lovely lady in matching orange neon thong and neon meshness that assaulted me, assaulted my eyes as I left the loo.
Oh, I missed that one.
It was like looking at the sun. It burnt my retinas. It was quite bad. But I feel like it was the colour and the mesh and the butt and the G-string. I feel like it was everything there. It was just a hot mess.
The whole package was wrong. I mean, people make mistakes, I guess. What can I say?
I saw a lot of people taking selfies, and I remember the sort of stuff that I have, especially from the 90s, where I was going through my lumberjack oversized t-shirt and shirt, overshirt phase with roll neck, and I was just thinking, you're really going to regret letting anybody take those photos. Like, at least mine had to be printed out and I can destroy them anytime. These are probably going to be
Listen,
posted
there
on
is
social
a
media.
couple of photos of me wearing a shell suit.
Nice. That is the good thing about our generation.
Olden
is that
days.
nothing will instantly appear on social media. Sorry, Uzma.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't think I've ever done anything that I've been embarrassed by that has been on social media.
I think it's
Yeah,
nothing
you
that
won't.
you now, but if you look back and go, wow.
What was I thinking when I wore that? That was fashionable.
I
do
do.
avoid putting any pictures of myself though, just so in the future I don't look back at it and be like, why did I do this to myself?
I do feel like there is a massive reinsurgence of the very early 90s in terms of fashion.
Yeah.
Lots of coloured jeans. I had a green pair.
Yeah.
Ooh, and the hairband, the puffy hairbands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come back and they didn't look good the first time and they should have died.
That's kind of what fashion is, though, isn't it? It's recycling. It kind of goes round in a big loop.
It does.
Yeah. I just wish the loop would sometimes just edit out the bad stuff.
Skip like a record.
Anyway, thank you very much, ladies, for joining me on this holiday and also joining me on this podcast. And we're gonna finish up for today because it's now, I think, 1 o'clock in the morning and we're freezing cold on the balcony.
Some of us remember to bring a blanket.
Thank you very much and tune in for the next episode.
Like, where do they fly out? 'Cause they're all just going in that way. Do they go
I
out
think
the
they
other
come
one?
out the
They
other
do.
end.
Like
We're not going to start talking about poo and fox.
Yeah.